I'm Chief Meteorologist Eric Maitland of KWQC TV6. What follows is a compilation of our coverage of a major winter storm that impacted the Quad Cities on December 19th and 20th of 2012. This storm began as heavy rain on the 19th and quickly, as cold air entered the area on December 20th, turned into a heavy snow. Not only that, but it was accompanied by blizzard conditions as most of the day our winds gusted to between 40 and 50 miles per hour or more. Of course, we always work as a team dealing with storms like this. As forecasters, we had this storm in our 7-day forecast prior to the storm's arrival, and our news department was talking about the potential impacts of the storm long before it hit. Here now is a sample of our coverage before, during, and after the storm.
Viewing area, then by Thursday morning, everybody will be seeing snow, but the wind's going to be gusting up to 50 miles per hour, so this will put it near blizzard conditions, especially in those rural areas where those winds can really whip up and blow that snow around. By Thursday afternoon, we'll wrap up the snow, but the wind will stick around through the evening and even the overnight hours, so wind chills will be near 0 degrees. Here's your snowfall forecast. Once again, I want to stress this will be tweaked quite a bit over the next 2 days, but right now a good estimate about 4 to 6 inches for the Quad Cities metro. Areas just to the east about 2 to 4. The heavier bands are setting up to the north and west. Wednesday afternoon between about 4 p.m. and midnight. Early Thursday morning, we expect that to switch. We're looking at about a 5 a.m. to 6 or 8 a.m. time window, and we'll see heavy snow and wind during the Thursday morning time frame. Here's your snowfall amounts: 4 to 6 for the metro, 6 to 8 just north and west, but notice that 8 to 12 inch band, a little bit bigger than it was at the 6 p.m. newscast.
Now here's a look at our snowfall forecast, and again, I'm doing this a little bit differently. 1 to 3 inches from east to west, 3 to 6 inches from east to west over the Quad Cities. But again, some of these totals could be a little bit lower because the track now has appeared to shift a little bit farther to the north and west. And then again, to the north and west of the Quad Cities, 6 to as much as 8 inches from, say, Iowa City up through Joe Daviess County. But then we get into that spot of maybe 8 inches to 10 inches or more. And that's how
you know, a lot of things have actually changed during the overnight. Just like we brought it to you yesterday morning, the fact that we have been upgraded to a blizzard warning for 2 of our northern counties. Well, that blizzard warning has been extended yet again for early this morning, and now it includes the Quad Cities metro area, both Rock Island and Scott counties underneath that. Everyone except for our extreme southern counties underneath the blizzard warning. Now that doesn't mean that Henderson County won't see some blizzard-like conditions today. It's just not going to be sustained like it will be in the Quad Cities, the rural areas, and points especially off to the north and northwest. So that's the quick rundown here. Now what exactly does that mean for you? Well, it means that snow has already started off to the north. Remember those 2 northern counties that were in the blizzard warning yesterday? That's already coming true up there in Dubuque. They've already seen 7 inches of snowfall, and it's coming down awful quickly. We're still rain in the Quad Cities, and for most of the viewing area, we're still in the rainfall, at the exception of central Jackson County up towards Joe Daviess and also Dubuque counties. But as we head through the rest of today, we will start that transition. So early this morning, rain, then mixing at about 10 or so, all the way over to snow and heavy snow at about 11 o'clock this morning for the Quad Cities. By noontime, everybody's snow, and that includes both north and south of the QC. That snow finally wrapping up by later on tonight, but there's going to be a period this afternoon and into this evening where visibilities will be down near 0 as that snow blows and drifts around. We'll have the snow totals for you and also the travel forecast. If you have to head out to work this morning, you can get to work, but getting home may be a bit of a hassle. I'll show you the biggest problem spots coming up.
Yeah.
All right, as we've been mentioning all morning long, the commute into work will be okay for some, but it's already starting to deteriorate very quickly. If you head off to the west of the Quad Cities on Interstate 80, you're going to run into that snow within about 25 or so miles of the Quad Cities, and blowing and drifting snow is the main problem there. Red dot, travel not recommended. Not exactly recommending travel on I-80 off to the east, as there's only some scattered rain out there, so if you just have to go somewhere and you're staying, totally fine. If you're driving out of town, you're heading out to, say, Chicago for the holiday weekend, and you need to leave early this morning, get out of town before that snow does finally get here, because by the afternoon, we changed that green dot into a red one, blowing and drifting snow across the entire board for I-80 and also I-380, too, out towards Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, up towards Waterloo as well. Interstate and highway travel here for the morning commute on 74. Again, if you're going somewhere and staying there, totally fine. If you're planning on getting home a little bit later on, blowing snow, again, across the board, north and south of the Quad Cities. The only reason I have a yellow dot down here for the evening commute off to the south for 61 and 67 is because the snow will just be a little bit lighter down there, only expecting about 1 to 3 inches once you start getting down towards that direction. But still, the snow will be lofted into the air, and visibility will probably be even below a half a mile even where the yellow dots are. So expect not a good evening commute after maybe not such a bad morning commute this morning. School's already canceling, so that's good that a lot of kiddos aren't headed down this. Rain's coming down pretty heavy in the Quad Cities right now. It is a very cold rain too. Starting to do a little mixing over there towards Muscatine County, and this rain-snow mix line we were telling you about yesterday, you could flip on the TV and we track it all morning long. It's exactly what we're going to do here as it very steadily marches its way off to the east. I know it looks close to the Quad Cities, still waiting until about 10 or so until we change over to more in the way of snow than in terms of raindrops. For 35 miles per hour, and visibility will be down at 1/4 of a mile. That as we put 3 to 6 inches of snowfall on the ground. Of course, the worst of the storm arriving during the afternoon once we do change over to that snowfall. Already verifying our forecast, that makes me feel good about what we're going to get in the Quad Cities. Spotty, I should say, foot-plus reports. Well, we've already seen one out in Des Moines. Remember, they're at 12.5 inches of snowfall. So
conditions in central Davenport. KWQC's meteorologist Kevin Phelps joins us live from our front porch with a look at how things are going on Brady Street Hill. Always a challenge for drivers when the roads get slick. So how are things going, Kevin?
Right now it is a slow go. We've been here all morning long and we saw it transition to snow by about 10 a.m. and the roads have quickly deteriorated. We have one person that happens to be stuck over here at 8th and Brady, and we just had an armada of plows come on through here not more than 10 minutes ago, and the road is freshly covered again in snow. You can even see this Jeep that's driving up right now. Probably need to clear those headlights. If you do have to get on the roads, make sure you clear those headlights and make sure you have them on. Now, as far as travel conditions are concerned, if you're heading on the interstate today, while we don't advise it, if you're heading westbound on I-80, expect to have some blowing snow. If you're heading eastbound, you will encounter some snow, but eventually, if you travel further enough to the east or far enough to the east, you will encounter moderate rain. 380, expect some blowing snow. If you head into I-74, it will start to mix to a little bit of snow. Eventually, you will see all snow there probably within the next hour or so. I-88, we're also mixing to snow, and Highway 61 and 67, both north or south, expect blowing snow, and that's going to be what we're expecting here this afternoon. I can tell you, I've been out here since about 4:30 this morning. Winds have steadily increased, and now we're probably seeing gusts close to 45 miles per hour. I can tell you that the snow hitting you on the face does sting a little bit, and we're going to continue to monitor these conditions here throughout this afternoon.
The blizzard causing accidents all over the Quad City Metro. Here you can see there was a very large tree that was snapped by the wind at its midsection in the trunk. It fell down, crushing a car that had a person inside it. That person was taken out, had minor injuries, is treated for those minor injuries. That tree also knocked down power lines here on Locust Street, causing the fire department and police department to have to close it off for traffic while they clean up that mess. Once they get the power lines in the car and the tree removed, Locust Street will reopen once again. Reporting in Davenport, Mark Stevens, KWQC, TV6 News.
KWQC's Mark Stevens also on the road tonight, and this is a very unique perspective we are able to bring you with some very new technology. He's actually set a camera up with Mike Ortiz in the car so we can give you a better look at conditions live as they are happening. He is in Moline right now to tell us what he's seeing and to show us too. Mark?
Gary, we're on Avenue of the Cities, and actually right now we hit a very clear patch of road. We're starting to see that at least closer to the heart of many of these cities, the streets are starting to get cleared off, although we are seeing the wind still playing a lot of impact. We were out farther towards Silvis at the end of Avenue of the Cities probably about 10 minutes ago, and out there the wind is really starting to cause drifting over the roads. We did see a plow go past there, but as soon as the plow went over, many of the roads started to clog up again. Now we are seeing, at least now I can see some of the lines again. I can see the center line from where I'm driving, and the lanes to my left are very clear, so driving getting a little bit easier, at least in the major urban areas, but as we've heard, especially out in the rural areas, when you've got that wind, that's where the driving starts to get treacherous again. Reporting live in Moline, Mark Stevens, KWQC, TV6 News.
Now we want to check in with Elizabeth Goodset. She's been out on River Drive near I-74 with the latest. Elizabeth, tell us about the conditions in your area, and are you seeing a lot of activity on the streets where you are?
Gary, you know, we're really not. As the winds are picking up, the traffic is really dying down here. And apparently we have just lost power at our location. No streetlights at this point, which is a brand new thing that has just happened. But take a look here. You don't see a lot of lights. You also don't see a lot of cars, maybe half a dozen on this road, which is really good. Drivers are getting the message. The plows have been out, but the streets at this point, you can't see pavement. We have white snow-covered streets. You can see the ruts from where the plows have been here, but because you can also see this blowing wind, doesn't really matter. Those plows are doing the best they can, but as soon as they plow the street, the wind blows the snow right back onto the street, and that's making a really, really big impact here. And of course, you know, we've talked about keeping your lights on if you are driving, very important now because the lights are out, but also because of this blowing, this drifting, you want to be able to see the other cars on the road in front of you. Make sure that those are cleared off because the wind is blowing that way. We do know that Moline, Rock Island, both declaring snow emergencies, so the plows can get out, make sure the streets are clear besides these main roads. They want to clear those residential streets. So if you are living along a snow route, you don't want to park along that. You want to keep it clear because the plow drivers really have been doing a big job today. They've been out all day during this storm, and obviously they will continue to try to keep this clear, but this wind blowing is not helping them at all.
We want to check in now on Kimberly Road in Brady. Erica Cervantes joins us from there. Erica?
Well, Gary, the wind is still really the big story out here. It'll be a little calm, and then all of a sudden you just get these huge wind gusts, and they just hurt because you feel the wind just going straight through you, and it just blows and drifts the snow back out onto the road. Now, as for the road conditions, they aren't that bad. It's mostly wet pavement. A lot of plows from Iowa DOT and the city are plowing, laying down salt, getting off as much of the snow as they can. So the roads are mostly wet and people are being cautious. They are being slow. And usually this intersection is extremely busy, and it's really not that busy right now considering it's in the evening. It's during rush hour on a Thursday evening. Visibility has also improved significantly out here. You can see that earlier we couldn't see restaurants, but now we can see all the way down there. There's an ambulance going by right now. We aren't really sure what that situation is, but we have seen a couple of ambulances go. We think that they're using this as a snow route, but the city of Davenport, they are out in full force. They are working 24 hours a day trying to get the snow cleared. They will start to hit the neighborhood soon, but they do say all of the major snow routes are cleared. Live in Davenport, Erica Cervantes, KWQC, TV6 News.
Even harder to keep them clear as we see the wind whipping that snow around you right now. Erica, thank you. And of course, today also happens to mark one of the busiest travel days of this holiday season. Thousands trying to get to their destinations today, many of them grounded because of the storm. Let's get to the airport. KWQC's Taylor Umden is there and bring us up to date. We know that a lot of people all day have been trying to see if they're going to get a flight out tonight. Is that going to happen?
Probably not, Gary. Nothing in, nothing out. That's the word here from the Quad City Airport today. Allegiant Air as well as Delta have both confirmed that nothing's going out, nothing's coming in. We're pretty much at a standstill here at the airport. People are being told it could be as much as 2 days before they get out of here. Some are going to try to get out of here tomorrow, but it could be a couple of days before we can get those planes in that were supposed to come in today. But through this whole ordeal, people are kind of just excited to be able to see their family and friends when they get that chance.
I went to pick up my grandparents. They're coming back from Florida for Christmas, and their flight moved to South Dakota.
We're trying to get to North Carolina, which has 2 connecting flights from here, and they're kind of canceling all of them due to the weather, I guess. So we're kind of getting moved around and shuffled.
Oh, it is what it is, and with weather like this, you just take what you can get, and I think that patience will prevail.
Pretty sparse crowd inside the airport right now. A lot of people have moved to hotels for the night, hoping to get flights out tomorrow. We'll continue to monitor the situation here at the airport and give you an update at 10, but for right now, the word is nothing in, nothing out.
And even if you've plowed the driveway once already, you might have to touch it up again in the morning. And for some of our streets, especially on the Illinois side of the Quad Cities, they are still getting snowed on. Take a look at the darker blue bands from Henry County down to Knox County and off toward eastern Carroll and Whiteside County. Those are still areas where the snow is coming down pretty hard, and that's where you'll still pick up maybe another additional 2 inches of accumulation, at least 1 to 2 before the snow tapers off late and then eventually comes to an end overnight.
It looks all calm and clear, and some of the snow has moved on, but it's anything but calm out there tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Very deceiving. Although we got out there a little bit earlier this evening and our skies were already breaking, we could see the moon, but again, we're still dealing with pretty fierce winds, and that's going to continue our blowing and drifting snow as we go through the night.
So even though we got through that big mess that left quite a bit behind, we still have to deal with a few hours of windy, gusty very cold conditions.
Yeah, that's very true. As a matter of fact, the last of the snow getting through the eastern half of Bureau County right now. But as Gary mentioned, behind it, we've still got those winds really cranked up to about 50 miles per hour still at times.